no matter where you are around the world, you can always bet on the new black media. Let's go.
Welcome Black to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.
All right, everybody. Welcome back, man. Welcome back to What's the 411 News. And we got another one, another interesting, if you want to say it is interesting. It's kind of sad when you think about it, because the way things are going in the US, things are changing, people are changing up, and it still seems to be not in the best interest of Black Americans. All right. So here we got another HBCU, Coppin State University, already getting out of the realm of being what was meant for HBCUs to begin with, right? As a matter of fact, let me go and pull something up here really quick, if we can. Let's see. If we will. Let's see here. Let me see the right one here. If we can do that. Let me just pull up a few things real quick, and we'll get started here, man. All right. As we pull up a few things. So, yeah, it looks like Coppin State has made or crowned their first Latina Miss Coppin State University. All right. That's what it's looking like here. Miss Coppin State University. Yeah, so real quick, we're going to get into it, man. When her name is Keelan Perez, became the first Latina to be crowned Miss Coppin State University. It was the second most, check this out, it was the second most exciting moment of her life, she said, after joining the military. So the military apparently was her first exciting moment. And her second was becoming Miss Coppin State University, all right? I have formed great friendships, said Perez, 22 years old, a nursing major from Mount Airy and a sergeant in the Army Reserves. But as news spread of her accomplishment at the historically Black public university, she faced cyberbullying, much of it focused on her Latina heritage. Perez believes the harassment stems from the belief among some that HBCUs are solely for Black people. Perez said that some of her online critics also believe she is white, which apparently also angers some. Now, let me get into these two things real quick. Let's get into the white thing with the Latinas. I don't know if you guys know, but there was a thing in, I think it was in Mexico. At one time, they was trying to push for them to actually be called white instead of Mexican. All right. Then you have this situation where I think there's a saying called, and we'll get back into the story here. There's a saying called La Raza, and that's supposed to either directly or a little awfully mean that you want to kind of associate with the white race, and it kind of means like don't mix in with anybody dark. And you would hear a lot of Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, Dominicans. They have this thing with not wanting to, like the parents wouldn't want the kids to associate with anybody Black, to date anybody Black, even if they're of Latino. They could be Afro Latino. If they're dark skinned like me, a lot of times you'll find out they don't want you to have anything to do with anybody dark skinned. They want to have their race as light as possible. So almost to the point where their mindset is like they want to be white. All right. And you don't believe me, just check around, do your research, and then ask people that you know. Go check out videos. You know, a lot of people, a lot of young, seem like a more Latino females that look like they're more white Latina. There, some of them are even coming and telling the truth. There's a few videos out there circulating. There's one of a girl who's, I think she's Puerto Rican. I don't know if she's Puerto Rican and black or Puerto Rican and Mexican. I think she's Puerto Rican and black. And she went on and told like how the Puerto Rican side would say stuff about black people and not to date anybody black. They have this thing. They've been colonizing the mind, a lot of them. And of course, not all of them, because some of y'all get mad, which I don't care about you getting mad. You're either going to be real, be with the reality or not. That's all it is to it. You mad because I'm speaking truth. That's all it is to it. And I know some people, I've associated with some people over the years, for a long time, who are Puerto Rican and Mexican. So of course, we're not talking about every last one. That would be kind of ridiculous. But like I said before, as in with black Africans and Caribbeans, the majority of them as a group have a disdain for black men, black women, black people. And you have some that you can pick out the big group. You can pick out one or two and put over here. You could put a Puerto Rican person here, I might know. A Mexican man or woman, I might know. Those people might not have no hate towards anybody black, and they cool with black folks. But then you got all of the group over here, they're not with it. And so I wanted to touch on that real quick in regards to what was said there. There's a couple of things I want to touch on real quick. Let me see. You guys bear with me for a second. Perez believes harassment stems from the belief that some HBCUs are solely black, and Perez that said that some of her online critics also believe she is white. Whether they try to hide it or not, there are a lot of Latino people, whether they're Puerto Rican, Mexican, Dominican, Guatemalan, you can go on and on and on. They want to associate with white and they want to be white. And like I said, there's a thing where they don't want to date anybody dark skinned, whether they're dark skinned Latinos, quote unquote Afro Latinos, or black people, because then they'll think of course, our DNA will make the children dark. So they don't want that. There's a lot of them that don't want that. All right, let's just keep it real. Let's keep it a buck. That's what it is. All right, so that's where it's coming from. And she's talking about her critics saying they believe she's white. It also goes with your behavior and your mindset too. All right, just like I could tell you, I don't know if I said it before. Just real quick, I remember going back to the Bronx one time in some restaurant, and there was a majority of people in there was like Puerto Rican, and I walked in just by myself, was dolo, and trying to get a table or whatever, because I was waiting on somebody to meet me up there. And you should see like the behavior was like straight up ignore. It took them a long time to even ask me what I wanted and stuff like that. So I could tell you about personal experience. And we talking about up in the Bronx, in New York. And so there's other places as well. Anyway, let's address this also about the HBCUs. It's worded as if she's trying to say, well, it's not really all HBCUs, not just for black people, but that was the original purpose for that. And I haven't heard anything publicly or really publicized or promoted that HBCUs was really looking for other races. It just seems that they are more or less trying to start accepting other people. You know, we did a story here about one of the HBCUs allowing Ukrainian people to come. I want to say, however, I'm not 100% sure. You guys can go back and check out the videos where we covered one of the HBCUs was allowing Ukrainians to come in and get a free education. And it never said anything about what they was going to do for them black students at all. All right. So now that she's trying to say, or it's trying to be insinuated that, oh, HBCUs is not just for black people. All right, a few things on that. Matter of fact, that's why I pulled this thing up. Let me see if I can make the correct one here. All right, the first, why were the first black colleges founded? All right. This is to go directly to what it was saying here. The first HBCUs were founded in Pennsylvania and Ohio before the American Civil War, 1861-65, with the purpose of providing black youths who were largely prevented due to racial discrimination from attending established quote unquote established universities and colleges. All right. With a basic education and training to become teachers or tradesmen. So that answers, or that's the response straight directly. If this is her trying to say all that, like supposedly black HBCUs wasn't supposed to be for black people, right? So that goes directly to that. And I also addressed the thing about people supposedly calling her white. We all know what time it is on that. And then that kind of goes into, just a little bit before we get back into this, that goes into this thing where people think it's a black and brown coalition. All right. There's so much evidence online, again, where there's not really a black and brown coalition, brown being the Latino folks or the Hispanic folks. There's supposed to be some so-called coalition where we all are together and we fighting for stuff. That's not true. And like I said before, there's only individuals that might have no hate for black people that are Latino, or, whether they Brazilian, whether they Puerto Rican, Dominican, Guatemalan, Mexican. Yeah, you have those individuals that you can pluck out that are down for black people and what's going on. They'll fight for them, so on and so forth. Even when you guys check out the video that the news story we covered with Grandmaster Caz, how he said that there were some Puerto Ricans with him, and one of his boys was Puerto Rican and Cuban. And when the other Puerto Ricans try to diss him and diss the what is known as hip hop music, then that his Puerto Rican friend, we went and beat up them dudes. So even back then, there's no black and brown coalition. Again, it's just a friend here, a friend there, individuals that are down with black people. But as a group, you'll find a lot of Spanish people don't have a disdain for black folks. And that's like I said, it's not everybody, but there are, as a group, there's a bunch of people that's like that. Let's just keep it a buck. All right. And there's just individual people that you can say, well, that's my boy, that's my girl. She ain't like that or he ain't like that. But as a group, y'all really ain't rocking with no black folks. Even your own Latino people that's dark skinned, as dark as me, you're not rocking with them like that. Even that show on was it Love and Hip Hop? Where what's her name? Mara La Negra, I think. The dude who was on the show got a lot of death threats because he said some foul stuff to her, and she is dark as me, and she's Latina. All right. And that Spanish dude looked like a white guy, but he's Latino. And after he dissed her, it was said that he got a lot of death threats for disrespecting her. So show me where the black and brown coalition is at. All right. Like I said, it's just individual people that might rock with you or you rock with them. All right. So let's move on, man. Let's move on. It says that I knew that it would happen, meaning the comments and the critics and all that. When I first decided to run, I knew it might take this route. It just tried to remain focused on what I have done for the university, which is what? Anyway, it makes me feel better, she said. She acknowledged some of the comments were aggressive and hurtful, but she said never thought of stepping down. She never thought of stepping down. All right, let me just put her picture back up here as we continue on. All right. The comments started to explode after Perez posted a playful TikTok video when both Baltimore HBCUs, Mr. and Miss, see each other. I wonder who the dude was. Now that they saying this here, I wonder who was the Mr. Coppin University. Was it a black dude? Was it a Spanish dude? Apparently it wasn't anybody else outside of being black, because they would have mentioned that. So, let's keep on. Let's keep on with it. Anyway, the video received close to 3,000 comments, about 80% of them attacking Perez, she said. It was a mixture of me invading their space, How did Coppin allow this to happen? And that they are confused, and black people can never have anything, she said. To date, the video has amassed more than 400,000 views. I guess it's on TikTok, 75,000 likes, and more than 2,700 comments. And there have been cloned videos that have also gone viral, most of which were also negative, according to Perez. Although this has been unsettling, Perez says she has faced discrimination and hate before as a student at Glenelg G High School in Howard County. A series of incidents there, including racist graffiti, attracted news coverage. At Glenelg, I guess that's how you pronounce it, where less than 20 students were black and less than 5 were Latino. I never felt accepted or welcome. It was very overwhelming. It was a lot to take in, she said. All of that was erased when I came to Coppin. I felt very welcome at the student orientation I went to. I went to 3 of them. Just talking to the students and staff and the culture made me feel welcome. All right. And the culture, what culture? Is the Black American culture made you feel welcome? But she said the culture made her feel welcome. My parents are immigrants from Guatemala. I mentioned Guatemala earlier. My parents are immigrants from Guatemala, she added. I can relate to people who were first generation. I was given the freedom to pursue my career. That's also another reason why I feel so welcome here at Coppin. All right, so there you have it on that. Let me just put this up here real quick. Where is it at there? So now I wonder what the Black American women feel like at the school, at Coppin University. How do they feel? And again, like I said, let me put it back on the screen. This was the real reason, or one of the reasons why the HBCUs was formed in the first place. All right. They were being prevented due to racial discrimination, white supremacy, from attending these established colleges and universities. So that's why they created their own colleges and universities. And yet she's trying to make it seem like, no, that's not what the HBCUs are for. So if she's going to go to HBCUs, she needs to start doing some research on why the HBCUs were created instead of saying, no, that's what it wasn't for. Right. So again, what do the black women feel about this situation here? And I know they got to be saying, yo, that's messed up. You know, this is a historically black college, and no women, none of the black women were able to get Miss Coppin State University. You know, how does that look? Right. And another thing that comes to mind is this: the fact that Biden went out his way to take money away from the HBCUs. The fact that Biden, on his so-called leaked Zoom meeting, said that the black people are going to have to get with the Hispanics. So he basically was really telling what the plans were, because after he said that, it started rolling out when they're allowing all the Hispanic people coming across the border, right? Not really getting sent back, right? And so it's kind of funny how the HBCUs seem like they're going in line with what Biden's plans were, right? It's kind of interesting when you start taking the pieces and start putting the pieces together and seeing what's being formed. I'm not gonna say anything right now. I might do it on my podcast channel, maybe down the road, or I might mention something here. But start taking the videos that you guys are watching here and start putting one video piece. You seeing one, and you seeing the HBCU with the Ukraine. We did that story there, right? Now we got another HBCU here, Coppin State University, allowing the Hispanics to, get that crown of McQueen of Coppin CPU, right? And there'll be some other things going on that we're going to be reporting on in a short period of time. And you start piecing those puzzles together, right? Start piecing the puzzles together, and you're going to start to see the picture of what's going to be coming down the pike. Right? You don't have to be psychic. I read a book. I still have the book, and it talked about being able to tell what's going to happen down the road based on things that are going on now and things that have occurred. And yeah, so I started applying that concept, and it seems to always work. And you kind of put things together, you see things going on, you piece them together, and you start finding things out and realizing what was what's going down, what's about to go down. Again, I may have mentioned it here, where I think right before Biden became president, maybe a few months before the elections and all that, I showed some people some Twitter messages that Biden put out regarding DACA. And I told a couple of people who didn't really seem to believe what I was telling them. I showed them the text straight from, not the text, but the Twitter post straight from Biden's Twitter page. And they're not going to put anything on there that doesn't get approved. So I showed these couple of people, one in particular. If you happen to be watching, you know who you are. I showed him, I said, this is who he's going to be for. It has something about the DACA, and the DACA are the Hispanic people. Just before he became president, I said, this is who he's going to be down with. And now we fast forwarding, and guess who he's down with? It's been several times he done made that clear. And so you can always apply the same practices or the same model. Just pay attention to what's going on, observe. Sometimes you might take notes. Sometimes you take a mental notes. Sometimes you got to screenshot a few things and put them pieces together. Come here and take out this this puzzle together, these videos, and you'll see it'll form a picture of what's about to go down in the near future. All right. And before I get out of here, it's kind of a little bit off this news report, but yeah, the balloons that were flying in the air, supposedly the Chinese balloons, and I guess supposedly one was shot down. I'm just gonna say there's been a lot of movement of some military equipment and people after that. All right, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think about this particular news report, how you feel, what you think. And, as always, we'll be back with another one. All right. And like I say, no matter where you are around the world, you can always bet on the new black media. All right. I'm out of here. We'll be back in about 30 minutes or a little bit more. All right. Peace. I'm out.
Welcome back to What's the 411 News, where we bring you news observation, interpretation, and news commentary from an FBA and BGR perspective. Let's get it.